Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for writing to our live session. As I understand your question, you're 23 years old, you live in Canada, and you're in college. You stated that you really appreciate about Islam, and our page has been most beneficial to you and it's helped you develop spiritual and religious aspects in your life and strengthen your faith. Alhamdulillah. I thank you for bringing that to our attention. It means a lot to us to know that we're, benefiting other people. And as you know, everything is through Allah. So anything that about Islam does or is a benefit is from Allah. And anything that is not, is a negative, is from us, and may Allah forgive us. But we do appreciate and honor you for bringing this to our attention, that it has been beneficial. Alhamdulillah. May all praises be to Allah. With that said, you stated that you're struggling through a lot of negative experiences in your life. But you've developed the strength to overcome and learn from and survive through life's trials and hardships. Alhamdulillah. And you also have felt an elevation in your heart. And that is something very beautiful, sister. And I'm sure, inshallah, that Allah is guiding you, right? You mentioned that sometimes your faith isn't soaring, right? But you're grateful that you have a deep connection through Allah for your faith. And that's what counts, right? Because our faith doesn't soar continually. Sometimes it's up and down. And that's just our human nature. And Allah understands that. And Allah loves us and He forgives us. So with that said, you should be very happy and very proud of yourself, actually, for overcoming your hardships, for growing in Islam, for getting closer to Allah, for being as strong as you are, right? Because reading your question, you've been through quite a bit. Okay, you spoke about your parents and how you were living under family abuse and violence for most of your childhood, teenage years, and young adult years, and that's very traumatic, sister. I can't even imagine, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I truly am. And for you to, move through that and come through that trauma and pain and be as strong and as pious and as beautiful and as motivated as you are, it is truly a blessing. And I do hope that you recognize that strength in you. And I hope that you do recognize that you are a blessing, not only to yourself, but to others. And may Allah bless you, for your determination to work through this. Additionally, you stated that you were, in classes and the whole pandemic was online, right? College students had online classes for a very long time. And like you stated, it did have its pros and cons. However, classes are now in person, and you've also been looking for someone to marry. So you have met somebody that you do like, and you're kind of conflicted about it, you stated, right? You didn't use that exact word, but it appears that you're conflicted because this person, number one, he has a learning disability, right? And I just want to state that there's all types of different learning disabilities. Some are very mild, such as dyslexia, and some are very severe. It appears that his is not particularly affecting his learning because he is at a university and getting a higher education. So that, in terms of relating to him and being able to have conversations or consider him for a future spouse, I really wouldn't worry too much about that. I'm not sure how you learned that he had a learning disability unless he told you. But I wouldn't let that be a deterrent unless you find out later that, it would prevent him from working or, some other major thing. The big problem is that he's not Muslim, right? And you did state that it is complicated. So since he's not Muslim, he is off limits to you, sister, as you know. Now, whether or not you talk to him about Islam, of course, in a halal way, perhaps Allah will touch his heart, right? And he'll want to become Muslim. He'll fall in love with Islam. He'll fall in love with Allah and know that this is the right path for him. I would not suggest that, someone, become Muslim or take Shahada just to marry somebody. No, because then that's not sincere, right? It's not coming from the heart, and that will never work. But perhaps Allah has put you in his life to show him Islam, to lead him to the right path, and perhaps he will become Muslim, right? But just please remember, sister, when you do talk to him, to keep it in a halal environment with somebody else around. With that said, you stated that it's also complicated because he's from a different country and a different cultural background than you. However, I want to point out that as a Muslim, you are free to marry whoever you want as long as they are Islamically acceptable, okay? And being Islamically acceptable means that he's Muslim. But it doesn't mean that he has to be from the same country, the same culture as you. That doesn't matter. It might be interesting if you were to marry to learn about his country and he learns about yours and learn about the different cultural differences and similarities, right? Those could be some beautiful platforms. So anyhow, sister, getting back to the main point, I would encourage you, inshallah, to utilize the college counseling services that you stated you signed up for growth, okay? Counseling is very beneficial. Of course, you have to have a good connection with the therapist, meaning, you like the therapist and you feel that she's, understanding you and helping you and listening to you, right? And guiding you in the right direction, inshallah. So I think that, getting counseling is a very good move on your part. And it's a sign of strength, right? It's kind of like a weak person who, knows that they have some things to work on, but yet ignores, working on them or ignores getting professional help and so forth. So it takes a strength and then an independence as well to reach out and get counseling. So I really commend you on that. And you should be really proud of yourself for doing that because it does take a lot of courage and strength. So alhamdulillah. So anyhow, sister, please do think about the situation with the boy at college. If you do talk with him, make sure it's in a halal environment and you speak in a halal way. Have somebody else around and, just get to know him for the purposes of marriage, if that's what you have in mind, but make it very clear that you are Muslim, right? And you might even want to talk to him about Islam to start off, because if he's not going to find it in his heart to seek the truth and become Muslim, then there's no reason to carry it forward, right? And if that's the case, sister, please know that with all of your striving, with all that you've been through and came through, right, that Allah brought you through, you're not going to be alone. Allah will provide for you the husband that you should have, that he has waiting for you. Whether it's this boy or somebody else, Allah will bless you with, inshallah. So please, keep making istikhara and keep depending on Allah. Know that Allah loves you. And I wish you the best in counseling. I'm sure it's going to be a very beneficial experience and you'll grow even more. And just know that through all things is with Allah. We wish you the best.